Welcome to the First Father and Sons podcast in Oklahoma City. I am Jermaine J. Jordan Sr.
I'm Corey.
I'm Jay.
And we are Sharp on All Four Corners podcast. And I like to just say welcome, welcome, welcome. Thank you all for being here with us today. We have another episode that we're coming with you with. And today it's on my son Jakari. So we're going to pass the mic to him.
All right, man. So I got a few questions for y'all today. It's a little deep today. I'm not gonna lie. I got a few questions to make you use your mind today. So I'll just, start off with a few questions. All right. So, I'll start off easy. What's something that you guys learned this week? Is there anything that you heard or saw that really made you, think about it a lot?
What I learned this? Yeah, I'll go first.
Yeah.
What I learned this week? Well, number one, I learned that Oklahoma got a horrible offense. I learned that, and it's pretty bad right now. But anyway, let's be real. What I learned this week? I don't know. What did I learn this week? Is it a thing where you have to learn something every week?
No, it's just something you saw. Something.
Or do you every day?
I think you should be. I mean, that's just me. And, everybody's different, right? Whatever your focus is. So, I mean, if you learned something this week, I'm sure you did. I mean, I'm sure it's something you've seen or learned or saw something, even just driving down the street, you didn't realize that a certain company or something was there or whatever, right?
Mm-hmm.
For me, I think I learned that two things I learned this week is that when you give people the truth, and I really just learned it. I knew it was that, but I really learned it when I had to deal with someone. And that is when you give them truth or give them another avenue to go find the truth, if they've been in something for so long, they're set in their ways, you can't get them to budge.
Yeah.
And they will stay in a lie just because they feel like that's been working all their life, right? And then another thing I learned is there is so many different ways to make money without killing yourself till you retire, right? In this day and time. And I think that a lot of us just don't want to put in the work. But I just learned that there's a lot of easy ways to get it. And we just need to focus and we can all get it. And I realized that if you, as a group of people, if you're just the only leader in it, and if something happens to you, will the team lose or win? If you're the leader only and you're the one got the bag.
That's deep. That's deep.
You know what I mean? If you're the only one got the bag and something happened to you, will y'all still be eating?
Right.
That's why I got it where I want everybody to be eating. Because if something happened to me, the team and everybody will still be winning.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
That's just me, though.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's a good answer. And I understand you with the fact that people are stuck in their ways, People will learn something, and if, try to reteach them or give them a different way of learning something, they're just stuck in their ways. They don't want to change.
Right. I like how you said that, reteach. And that's when you grow. When you know you're growing is when you accept the fact that you have to let go of what you once was taught, right? And now you have to be open to be retaught, right?
Yeah.
And so it's like how it was like a habit, break a habit, and then you got to form a new habit, right? And then you got to practice that habit. That's work. And a lot of people ain't trying to put in no work.
That's true.
That's very true.
It's all about consistency.
Yeah, some things that I learned today. I mean, not today, this week.
Yeah.
I'm, a little nervous, but that's all right.
It's all good.
Some things I learned this week were just, like you said, some things about money. I've just been, looking into credit and just trying to understand more about that. School,
Yeah. Boy, you learn that credit game. It's all good.
Yeah.
Raps.
If you learn the credit game, I mean, everybody, all my credit score is this. I'm talking about learn the game.
It's raps.
You can't go broke.
Yeah.
You can't go broke.
Yeah,
And that's why I remember giving you the book. You know what I mean? What is it? Poor Dad,
Rich Dad Poor
Rich
Dad.
Dad Poor Dad. I gave you that at what, 17, 16?
16, I think.
Yeah.
It was it had to be like right after my birthday,
Yeah.
like the beginning of the summer.
I'm just like, here, this is something you would love.
Mm. When I like first read it, honestly, I was kind of bored because it's a bit like not a business book. It was like money management book, and
Yeah.
at that time I was like, this is like I don't want to read this,
You're right.
So like I read it a little bit, and it was like over the summer, and I was just like, all right, I'm gonna just read little bits and pieces, and then I watched a video. There's like a video about it, so I watched a little video, understand more about the book.
Yeah.
And then I went back and I read it, and I took notes, and it really helped me like understand what's going on in the book.
I'm
so,
telling you, man. And why you get it now, while you young, that's the power of it, right? Because a lot of us come from a culture where wasn't even a conversation. You know what I mean? Retirement, your credit score, business credit, none of that stuff was a conversation, right? You just better go to school and you better graduate. Right. And you better go to college so you can get you a good job. That's all we was taught, which is the so-called American dream. But there's other dreams. We dream, everybody don't have the same dream, right?
Mm-mm.
All right.
Not everybody.
So I know that we're on social media, as we are right now. How do you guys feel about, the things going on TikTok, Instagram, other social media outlets? Me personally, I would say I feel like it's just, like I've heard that people think of it as like modern newspaper.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like you can get a lot of bad information or you can get a lot of good information, but most of the social media is based off of you. So it's like it's kind of a reflection of yourself. So I don't know. For me, I feel like it can be good at sometimes, but most of the time I try to, stay away from it and, stay the course.
I think you're right. It can be good or bad, especially if it's a distraction, right? Mm-hmm. And if you're not using it for a purpose, like, using it to make money or using it to, open doors for, connect, make good connections with other business owners or whatever it is you're into, right? Like if you're a comedian, you connecting with other comedians. If you, so I think it's just based off you, whatever, you want, but make sure it's beneficial to you, or, because if it's not, it's going to be a distraction, and you just see people hours and hours at a time just scrolling.
Yeah, I think there's
the dishes
a term
is piling
for it.
up, the trash is getting full. You know what I mean? And they ain't doing nothing but on there. And then by the time they get ready to do it, they tired and go to sleep, right? So I just think use it wisely. And that's what we're doing. We're trying to use it wisely, but we also trying to do what one of our main goals is, right? Is to touch each other spiritually, mentally, emotionally, or physically, but also hopefully we can do it to other fathers with sons, right? Because there's a lot of fathers out there with sons that have a relationship basically based off religion, entertainment, or sports.
Right.
And we have a relationship beyond that, right?
Yeah, some people
see what I'm saying?
Are around their dads their whole life and they don't really know much about them.
Right. Because that's the only conversation they can have.
Right.
It's only about religion. It's only about sports, or it's only about entertainment. Did you see old P. Diddy? Did you see OU? Did you? And then that's it. That's done.
Right.
You know what I mean? But ain't no talking about being in relationships or your past history of what you've been through. So my sons know a lot about my history, and I've painted a picture, right? And then them seeing me, they can kind of put it together. But I think that at the end of the day, you have to have a relationship on a different level with your sons, and I think that's what we came to do. We came to do that.
Yeah.
So what you think about social media?
There was a quote probably a long time ago about the newspaper that used to say stuff like, if you read the paper, you're informed. I mean, if you don't read the paper, I'm sorry, I think I got my words mixed up. Is if you read the paper, you're misinformed.
Yeah,
like you're misinformed.
Okay.
If you get on social media, a lot of times, I don't even know if some of this stuff is AI.
Right.
A lot of stuff looks like it's fake. It looks real. Just like that video you just showed me of that. it's just it's like another world.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
It's like you're tapping into a
Yeah.
different planet. Social media is not real.
Yeah.
Well, I think, and I feel you, but it is. It's actually real. It's just people giving you fake, bad, good news, right? Like,
Right.
you know what I'm saying? You just got to be able to decipher what is and what ain't, right? Like you just said. But I think it's not a bad thing because that's what's happening in this day and time. And if we get lost and not keep up with what's going on, we will be left behind.
If you don't read the newspaper, you're uninformed. If you do read the newspaper, you're misinformed.
Yes, right. There you go.
That's what it is.
And and so I think keeping up with what's going on is not a bad thing.
Right.
You know what I mean? So I don't know, man. I think it's good. It's good and
It's
bad.
a good
but I think
thing,
it's what's happening in this day and time.
It's a good marketing thing for a lot of
Yes, that's
stuff.
why I say it's good marketing. Yes, right.
I
Open.
don't-
I'm telling you, man.
I don't think it's good for. I think it should be a age limit on
Right.
certain things.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure in other countries there is a limit.
Yeah,
you know?
for
and
sure.
there's a certain amount of screen time that
Yeah.
they can have.
Yeah,
Right.
and I respect that, and it should be that way. But we as Americans, we let people have freedom of everything, and that's why we so divided. You know, some countries, everybody has to follow everything, and that's why they win. You know what I mean? That's why they together.
Right.
Yeah, that's true.
That is true.
Can't
That's a good
excuse
point.
that.
Yeah,
That is true.
yeah.
Okay, guys, this one is gonna.
Another one?
Yeah, it's a real deep one. I'm not gonna lie. So I know that we all go through things, as people, certain emotions that we hold to ourselves, and there's some things that we tell each other about. So I just want to know, how do you guys handle like trauma? Like, do you think that it affects you as a person, or do you just think it's just something that you just have to deal with and just get over?
Yeah.
I think both. It affects you as a person, and you have to get over. You got to keep pushing.
Right.
You got to, if I was to say, everybody deals with it differently, and we can't tell somebody how to deal with it, right? You can't say, "Oh, I went through it, so you need to do it like this. This is how I got over it."
Right.
It don't work like that. And people think that they're so-called healed because they get spiritual or they get religious or they get in a new relationship or what have you, right? That they're healed, right? They go get counseling. But trauma goes with you for the rest of your life. Why? Because it gets up here. And what's in your mental, it's hard to let it go. You might push on and do more things in life. You might get some prestige. You might get some degrees. You might start a business. You might get a new marriage. But that trauma is still there. Why
Still
ask
there.
somebody that been to the military, that been through the worst trauma you can be through, and see, don't after 20 or 30 years, they still wake up with bad dreams.
Right. That is a good point. I didn't even think about that. PTSD.
Yeah. Trauma is. I work at Hobby Lobby. There's a lot of guys who come from the military and start, need a job, and they come to Hobby Lobby. They got PTSD. And I ask them, if they've been in the service, I say, hey, do you got PTSD? Because I just want to know who I'm working with.
Yeah.
And some of them say, yeah, I got trauma, and I got to go to, I got to get counseling every week because of it.
Yeah.
And they were only in this service for 5 years.
See
Imagine
there?
somebody was in there for
5
20
years.
years.
20, yeah.
Trauma goes with you forever. It's just how you deal with it.
How you deal with it.
And try to find things to keep your mind busy.
Yeah.
Because idle time.
Positive.
Positive. Idle time is the devil's workshop. So just try to keep moving.
That is a good point.
And just try to keep stuff off your mind.
But sometimes we find a way to try to deal with trauma and end up hurting ourselves even more. I can relate to dealing with so much trauma. So I ended up relating to religion and work, and forgot about myself. You feel what I'm saying? Trying to deal with the trauma and thinking, oh, I'm doing good because I'm working. I ain't thinking about it. Oh, I'm with religion, and oh, God is going to get me through. And the whole time I was still neglecting myself and hurting myself, but also hurting the people that was around me, right? Because there was a time that I was so much trauma, being a single man with children. When I would come home, I was mean to my kids, right? And one day my daughters had to tell me, Daddy, you need to start dating. And the reason why they said it is because they felt like that would make me better, right? So they saw it as kids, right? But they were being affected by it. And then when they grew up to be in relationships, that affected their relationship. See? So sometimes we have to find a positive outlet. Sometimes just working or getting religion is not the thing. It's not it. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes you need to find something else that's going to balance your life where you can still treat people right. You know what I mean? And because they told me that, I had to get some dang on counseling. And one thing I learned in counseling was those kids don't know what the hell you're going through. Excuse me. They don't know what you're going through. They don't know. They're not adults.
Right.
So you have to learn to drop it off at the door, because they're just like your little puppies. You know how puppies come, when you come in, they just want to jump and be. Kids just want to, hi, daddy. They want to, tell you about their day and all that. And you coming in, kicking the dog and everything else, right?
That's wild.
You know that's true.
I know it's
You've
true.
been there and done
Yes,
that
I
with
know
me.
it's
Y'all
true.
rode this ride with me. But I think it was my girls that showed me. No, because y'all could say what y'all want to say. And because y'all was boys, I was like, rah, rah, rah.
Right.
Wasn't really hearing y'all. But when my girls did it, they broke me down. And I had to go get some help. You know what I mean? And now I can stop and listen when they talk. And I can look them in the eye and really pay attention to them and not be distracted over here, right? I can really make sure that, I'm focusing now. And, man, I tell you, trauma ain't no joke, bro.
And it's good to have people around you, when you're going through stuff. We went through a hard time a few years ago, and I don't know, we just tried to get through it, and then one day we just had a talk, and
Are you talking about you and I? Yeah.
yeah, after that passing, we were just stuck.
Yeah.
And we just talked about it, and I just feel like once it just felt like somebody else could relate to us, we just realized we could press on. We got through it.
You know what I like though is I had to learn to talk, because it was like, you better get over it, move on, you're a man, suck it up, right? But I think you, when you were younger and you was wanting to play football, right, and you would come out there from playing with the boys and they had you upset, right, and everybody was like, stop doing that, you ain't no girl, right? And that's when I would say, leave him alone, let him get it off his chest, come in, and then you go right back out there on your own, right? Nobody had to push you. I think you were one of the boys that helped me recognize, because I remember Jay telling me one time, you want everything to be perfect. And then he was in, middle school, just going into high school when you said that to me. You remember that?
Ninth grade.
And I was like, boy, no, I just know you can be better, da-da-da. But I wasn't hearing him then. I think, going through the trauma of raising you guys without another parent and the girls and you, that was the moment for my transition of settling myself down and not trying to live the life of what the world says a man's supposed to do, or a husband's supposed to do, or a father's supposed to do. I had to learn my own circle.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I think it's so important to know that even at that age, because if I was in ninth grade, you probably were well into your 30s at that time, or just hitting your 30s.
Yeah, I probably was early 30s.
So at that point, I'm not sure what you were thinking, but I'm sure you probably thought you knew a lot, from what you know now. At that time, at 30, I'm pretty sure you probably thought you knew a whole bunch.
Right.
But imagine now versus, what would you tell your 30-year-old self now?
I think I would have said it different, but I still meant what I meant. Like, I meant that I want to see you do better than what you believe you can do, right? I don't want you to accept the fact that minimum is enough, right? You know what I'm saying? Or barely getting by. Like, say, for instance, your grades is A, B, C, and D, and F, right? And you just getting by with a C, and you barely making a C. I don't want you to accept that. You know what I'm saying? Or I'm going to work hard till I get this D up, but then I'm fine. No, work a little harder to get that a B plus or A. That way, if you do kind of slack, you won't be down to failing. You know what I'm trying to say? And that's so I would tell my 30-year-old self now, just say it different, because then you would have received it different. You feel what I'm saying? That's what I would tell myself.
And that's a thing that I think we all had to learn with you. Is, you know, just the way you say it. It's not really about the way you say it. It's more about what you're saying.
Yeah. Right.
Because when I was younger, you'd say something to me, I'd hear it, but I'd be like, "You're just yelling."
And he mad.
Yeah.
You think I'm mad? Yeah. Because I remember you told your mama that, like, I can't talk to him. He think he's mad all the time. I ain't mad.
And then I start getting older. I start understanding. It's just the way you're saying it.
Right. Right.
But I think that's just a thing with getting older and understanding people.
And a man, thinking that's how he's supposed to be with his boys, right? And that's why I said the transition of me being able to just sit down and chop it up with you versus yelling at you or going hard on you, I think that worked. Just sitting down and just chopping it, right? And I done that with all of y'all, right? Because I remember when my grandbaby it came about. We had a talk, boy. And so I think just those conversations and knowing that you can open up and you don't have to feel like I'm disappointing him. I'm not being, because I do set the standard, right? I do be like, you got to get up there. You're supposed to be up here. So sometimes because I do that, it's almost like I can't talk to him because he only see it one way, right? So, So what do you think? Like, what do you think about it as far as then and versus later on being able to talk to me?
Then it was just that awkward, that weird stage of the teenager stage. So everything just felt weird, even though it wasn't.
Yeah,
it wasn't. It just felt weird. But now that me being how old I am now, it's just no reason to feel embarrassed or there's no reason to feel like you're left out, because everybody goes through this type of stuff.
That's real.
Every day it's just you're just growing.
Yeah.
Even if you feel like you're not going anywhere, something's getting done. Like every day you're seeing something different.
And that was part of his question.
Right.
He was like, "What did you learn this week?" And you just kind of said it like, "Yeah, every day something, light bulb come on somewhere."
You're like, "Oh, so that's." It's like a light bulb just pop in your head, but you might not even say it out loud.
Yeah.
You just might just see something on TV, and then something from your personal life. You're like, "Oh, that's why he did that."
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
But, I can relate.
Yeah. So
for sure.
That type of stuff is it's not stuff that you would ever forget, but when you get older, it just get easier.
If the parent allow it, right?
If the parent allow it, it get easier.
If the parent
that
allow
is a good point.
Yeah, if the parent allow it, because the parent has to grow too. Remember, I always said, I'm daddy when you're under 18. Now I got to be father after that. I can't tell you what to do no more. I can't control who your friends are and all that after that, right? But before that, no, you ain't going with them. No, you know what I'm saying? So I have to grow too. But some of us as parents, we try to stay even after they're 18, 19, 20, 21. We still try to be the 18-year-old parent.
And I have
under 18-year-old parent. Right?
I have no problem with a parent still trying to treat you like a kid at 18, because that's what you are.
Yeah.
18?
But we still have to transition, because you're going
into
adulthood. So now I got to go from daddy into fatherhood, right? You know what I'm saying? Like, I got to transition too with you. I can't stay right here while you going. That's why we bang heads. See what I'm saying? Because I'm not transitioning with you, and I'm still trying to run your life, and you like, I don't want to do that. You know what I'm saying? I want to do this. And I'm trying to say, don't go down that road. Don't do that.
I think that's fine though.
Yeah, I mean that's you, right? As like you said, the age you are, but at the age I am now and raising kids, I see it different, and I probably would have saw it the same way then, right? But now, raising all the kids I had to raise, I see it different. I had to transition on over, because y'all coming to that age quick, all of y'all. You know what I'm saying?
30.
It was kind of like for me, because I'm one of the younger ones, it was like, I think I saw one graduation, I saw the twins' graduation,
Yeah.
and then after that, it was just graduation,
Yeah. Right.
and then I'm like, yo, I'm next.
You're next.
And then,
yeah.
like, once I started thinking about me being next, COVID hit, and then COVID hit, and
Mhm.
after COVID, like, everything went by fast, and then I was a
Yeah.
senior. I was like, whoa.
Yeah.
So,
It did. I think it did. It shocked me a little bit. Like, dang, Kari graduating. Like, you know what I'm saying? It did go so fast to me.
Mm-hmm.
Because there were certain things I was wanting to do when he was 16 and 17. Before I know it, he graduated in 18, right?
Mhm.
I'm like, dang. So, but I mean, what I love is the fact that it doesn't stop being, you don't stop being able to do things because the age. We're going to always be a family. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So,
That's one thing about time. It will move.
it will, boy. It will.
30 years have passed by. Almost 30.
Almost, man. You don't keep saying it. Make me recognize.
I'm
where
making me
at.
recognize.
Oh, okay. Make you recognize then.
'Cause
Hey,
I'm-
but
I'm-
I ain't getting older. I'm just getting better, brother. I'm telling you.
I don't ask people how old you are young no more. I say how young are you? Cause that's, I don't know if they really are old.
Yeah.
Like, no, I can't do
Yeah.
that.
What you think though? I mean, is that you got another question for us?
Sure.
All right. Talk to us.
All right, man. So
Talk to me. I'll talk back.
Mm-hmm.
this one might be my last question for today. Okay. So there's a few ups and downs, that we have. I've already, asked questions like this that are deeper, so I think you guys will be all right.
Mm-hmm.
But, there's certain things that we've done, like, together that we've tried, and it's, we've had our ups and downs, but it hasn't really gone so well. So how would you say that you guys deal with failure or problems that are, like, stuck in your way?
With failure? With failure. That's going to happen. It's like failure is inevitable.
Yeah.
Michael Jordan said that. I love using his quotes. They say you got to fail to win. You have to fail. So how you going to know how to win if you don't fail? But all of those things that go into failing is afterwards you got to get better.
Right.
Simple. You just got to get better. If you fail or make a mistake, you can't get wise by doing the same thing, over and over again. You got to get better.
Yeah, that's how I was with, like, school or, like, with the gym. Like,
Right.
It's more of a, like, I took this one course, it was anatomy, and I was, like, super excited. I was like, yeah, this class, I'm going to just get through it easy. Like, I won't have any problems. And then we had a test over, like, every bone in the body, and we had to, like, do a practical or whatever. And I was, like, I studied, but I don't know how to explain. Like, when I used to study, like, before this class, it was like, okay, I'll do a quick, review.
Yeah.
I'll look at the paper a little bit, and then I'll know where it's at, and I'll be fine. And then we went in there, and I think I got, like, a 60.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, oh, my gosh, I got a 60.
Right.
And then I seen my grade go down. I was like, nah. I got, like, she was like, okay. Because, well, like, it wasn't just me that did bad. Like, the whole class did bad. So she was like, all right, well, you get a redo.
Right.
I did the redo. I was studying, like, for, like, 2 or 3 days.
Yeah.
And it felt weird to me to have to study this long because most of the time it's like, I'll learn it in class. I'll look at it. I got it. And then it was like, okay, I really have to study this. But that's what really made me like that class was that I had to really apply myself.
Get down through there. Yeah.
It was like, I don't know. I already thought it was interesting, all the stuff I was learning.
Yeah.
And then I really got to, like, pay attention and, like, focus up and do it at home, too. I was like, okay.
But that is something that I deal with when I was in the ministry, right? And for me to have to give something to the people, I had to get down through there, right? And remember, I used to tell you, when you get ready to do something, read it like 10, 15 times. Like, say if you got a speech or something, read it like 10 to 15 times. So even if you read it off paper, you won't reading it like word for word. You'll be reading it and it'll just, right? And so I can relate to that. Like, you just got to get down through there if you really going to get what you want out of it. And if I wanted the people to get it or y'all to get it, I had to go get it. Mm-hmm. But failure for me, I can say I am coming to a place where I can accept it without beating myself up, right? I can accept it without feeling a little embarrassed. Why? Because the people, a lot of people around you look at you a certain way, right? And say they have a lot of respect for you, or you motivate them, or you give them, courage to do better, right? Because I remember a brother came to me and said, he said, man, coming from the life you used to live and where you are today, raising these kids, how did you do it? Right? He said, how did you do it? But he don't know there was a lot of failures.
Right.
You only see what it looks like to you that I'm winning. But boy, I done made some choices and decisions that will blow your mind if I really told you how I got here. But because the part that I say, when I say that I'm learning to deal with it, is because I would hold it in. I wouldn't suppress it. I mean, I wouldn't let it out. I would suppress it, right? So I wouldn't talk about it. I wouldn't tell nobody, right? And that's what made everything. So when I did say something or do something that I didn't, somebody do something, I would explode, right? I would talk loud. I would sound aggressive. Why? Because I done suppressed everything. Then when it's finally letting out, that's how I'm letting it out. You see what I'm saying? So I'm learning now that I can talk about it and it'll be easier to deal with things, right? And people won't change how they look at you. People look at you a certain way and you think, okay, if I tell them I failed, they're not going to look at me the same. You see what I'm saying? So I'm learning now, for one, don't care what people think or how they feel. That's one, right? And what they say about me. And I was at a place because I had an image that I was upholding because the world put it on me. So I was trying to live up to that image. So if I failed, I was suppressing it. Does that make sense? So I'm learning to get away from that.
Yeah.
And I can admit that, right?
And at the end of the day, it really is just you, your problems, your situation. So regardless of what anyone else thinks, it's more about you in the end. And I would say for failure, it's kind of, I don't know, I'm kind of in a mid place right now. Like for some things, I'll get like if I fail, it's more like dang, and then I'll have to go harder or do it more.
Yeah.
But I think I've kind of been like that with a lot of stuff. That's kind of how I am with art or when I used to play football. If I get tackled, I get hurt or something because I was small, so it was all right, I just got popped.
Yeah.
I'm gonna get back. I gotta get back up.
Right.
Go do something. Or we used to play I play both sides, so it's all right, you pop me, I'm about to play defense. I'm about to take your head off. I gotta get back, bro. There's no way. Yeah. So it's it's kind of both. Sometimes if there's something that I can't do, or for me, I kind of think of it oh, I can't do this. It's not I can't do it at all. It's more I just can't do it right now. Eventually I'll be able to. So I think it's just.
I think we just need to know what we can, what's us and what's not too. Sometimes everybody think you should be able to do everything because you're a man, right? But that ain't the case, right? I'm not able to do that, and I'm accepting that, right? And I'm not finna just be what they so-called said, I'm a jack of all trades, master of none, because you be that, you'll be stretching yourself so thin that you won't become a master of nothing and become the man that you want to be because you're so stretched thin trying to be a jack of all trades.
Yeah. That's a good point.
You know what I mean? Where we at, my man? Yeah, so I think we came to that point. I don't know if y'all like that discussion. Yeah, we I know everybody's seeing it's just the three of us. We got one man out. He had to handle some business, but the show must go on. You know what I mean? I'm just grateful to see you guys here today. I know y'all had a long week working and handling y'all business.
Yes, sir.
So, but here we come to that moment where we're about to end the session. And so do y'all have any last words?
Peace, love.
See you guys.
Yes, peace. Salute to everybody that tuned in. We love you.
See ya.